my goodness. What is up, my friends? And welcome to the live coverage of the USFL draft. You guys are important to me. This is so important. My wife just came down the stairs to show me her new hair cut. And you know how, and she looks very lovely, I must say, because she just came back. But she said, okay, babe, you have to do your USFL live draft coverage. So we won't be talking about my hair right now. So that's how important you guys are. And this event is for us here in the Alt Football Spring Football League. First of all, shout out to Marcast, Reed and Kyle holding it down with the pre-show. Appreciate them. And now we're going to take over so Reed can go to his hockey game and we can talk about the USFL and its draft. So let's first off, before we get into any news, I know you guys know everything that at least at this point, how the draft is going to work, snake format. Here's how the breakdown is going to be for the draft. So round one, we'll get into that. Will be QBs, defensive end. But actually, before we get into that whole rounds, let's talk about some exclusive details we got here today. So first up, we learned through sources that the USFL actually flew all the quarterbacks into Birmingham for the draft. This was not known before, but it happened today. So the round one was supposed to take place right now. And they were going to make the draft, and that was going to be it. But the USFL decided that they're going to fly in all the quarterbacks. So the quarterbacks are all there. All 8 quarterbacks are in the building in Birmingham for this draft. The key is none of them know which team they're going to be on. And we're going to find out live here on the show where these guys land. So, so the interesting thing is that the sources told us that the 8 QBs are in town. They were flown in from Birmingham to the event. And of course, the twist is that none of the players know what team they're on yet. And they'll find out when we find out live here on the show. Now, after they get drafted, this gives the players a chance to talk to the media and on social media right after the event. I'm sure they did some press. They did pictures, to kind of get all that stuff going. So far, no names have been leaked except for one, thanks to our own Mike Mitchell. Let's see here. I just want to make sure no picks were taken. Okay. I'll be switching back and forth to the USFL draft page. I think it'll take them a while to kind of ramp things up before we start to see anything. But Jordan Ta'amu will be selected in tonight's USFL draft. This is from our own Mike Mitchell. He dropped this information on Twitter that the former St. Louis Battlehawks QB, Jordan Ta'amu, will be one of the 8 selected tonight. He said, per sources, former XFL standout quarterback Jordan Ta'amu has agreed to terms on a contract with the USFL and be one of the quarterbacks selected in tonight's draft. Since playing in the XFL in 2020, Ta'amu, one of the first players, he was actually one of the first players to sign with an NFL team once, shut down the XFL. He bounced around, really bounced around several NFL organizations. He played for the Kansas City Chiefs twice. This is all in this past year or so. Detroit Lions twice, Washington Commanders and Carolina Panthers. Ta'amu was a tier 1 quarterback. So he was part of this same type of thing with the first quarterback taken in the XFL draft. He's now the first that's going to be taken in the USFL draft. Now his backup, of course, we all know is with the Battlehawks is the current starting quarterback for the Washington Commanders, Taylor Heineke. So who will be part of this draft? We were just going to have to find out. So basically, I'm hanging out with you here on the chat and on Twitter, and we're just going to kind of monitor this thing. What's up, everybody in the chat? I want to welcome everybody on our live stream on the YouTubes. We're on Facebook. We're on all sorts of different areas, so you can come check out our draft coverage. Now, if you want to know a little bit about us, first of all, if you want to contact the show, we're always live. Every Monday is for the XFL Week in Review. We are live every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or Twitter. We are, let's see. I don't know if I should trust what's going on in the chat, but we're live every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern on Mondays for the XFL. All right, we have the first pick in the USFL draft. The Carolina Panthers have selected. Let me get to my Twitter. Hold on. Shea Patterson of the USFL, the Panthers, with the first pick. And let's hear from Shea Patterson right here. I guess this is his little video. Let's check it out. Oh, here.
USFL draft, the Michigan Panthers select quarterback Shea Patterson. Great to have Shea representing Michigan again on the football field. Go Panthers.
All right, there you go. Brad Kozlowski introducing the first quarterback taken in the USFL draft is Shea Patterson. First of all, we got to give him a follow here. So congratulations to him. Do we follow him? Now, I believe Shea Patterson was part of the Spring League. Did he play in the Spring League? We'll give him a follow on the social media stuff. So they're kicking it. We're ready to go. Shea Patterson, first guy off the bat in the draft. Thanks for everybody in the chat to kind of giving me a heads up on that one. Shea Patterson is first. So what can we know about him? Shea Patterson, I believe he was part of the, here we go. There's all sorts of stuff going on. We're just going to keep it on this page and see what comes next. Who's going to get picked? So far, we got Shea Patterson. We got our next QB, the second pick for the Bandits. Oh, it's a, here we go. Here is the next pick in the USFL draft.
Why, hello, I am Biggie, and as a Tampa native, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to announce to you that with the second pick of the 2022 USFL draft, my hometown team, the Tampa Bay Bandits, select quarterback Jordan Te'amu! Congrats to you, Jordan, and Coach Haley. Let's go, Bandits!
Yes. There you go. Oh. There you go. Jordan Te'amu is the second pick in the draft, and he is drafted by my, let's see here, Tampa Bay Bandits with the second pick. So Jordan Te'amu is your second pick. Shea Patterson is your first. Congratulations, Jordan Te'amu. Yes, my team, the Bandits, now have Jordan Te'amu on their roster. Okay, clearly they put like a little Photoshop kind of deal of them playing and throwing and whatever, but that's cool. It's got the uniform. Jordan Te'amu is the second guy pick. We're just ripping through these. We'll just stay on this page. So Shea Patterson, number 1, Jordan Te'amu, number 2. Let's go. Let's see if we got somebody else. Oh, here we go. Pick number 3. Hold on. Here we go. Let's pause this. Here we go with the introduction for pick number 3.
Hi, this is Jimmy Rollins. And I have the honor to represent the city of Philadelphia for 15 years as a member of the Phillies. So it's my honor to announce with the 3rd overall pick, the Philadelphia Stars select quarterback Brian Scott. Congrats, Brian, and welcome to the Stars.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Jimmy Rollins.
All right, Jimmy, thank you. All right, there you go. Brian Scott, Spring League player, I think friend of the show of the Markcast. We've been following him. Congratulations to him. I think he's a great pickup for the Philadelphia Stars. So they get their quarterback. He comes in at number 3 in the USFL draft to the Stars. So we've got Shea Patterson, we've got Jordan Te'amu, And then Brian Scott. Love Brian Scott. Love all these picks so far. We got number 4 in the draft. Oh, there's him just rocking the Stars uni. We've got Jordan Ta'amu with some XFL coverage. The Bandits showing some Jordan Ta'amu coverage. So let's check this little video clip out that they have for him. There you have it. Hopefully that music is safe for the YouTube, because sometimes the music is not. So we're just not going to do that. So there you go. We got the picks in so far for the quarterback position. And we've got the next pick. Let's go to, Michael Strahan. Let's see what he's got to say about the next pick in the draft, shall we?
With the 4th pick in the USFL draft, the New Jersey Generals select quarterback Ben Holmes. Good luck, young man. Can't wait to see you out there this year. And go Generals! Woo! Let's go, baby!
Ben Holmes is your Generals quarterback. Anybody? Ben Holmes, who did he play for? Tarleton, where is he from? Does anybody know Ben Holmes? Congratulations to Ben Holmes. He is the 4th pick to the New Jersey Generals. Congratulations to him. He played where? Ben Holmes, Orchard Park, New York. All right. Tarleton State, best in program history. Interesting. So a really kind of, I don't know if he's an unknown or not. You guys will let me know about the New Jersey Generals pick. Is he one of these guys who potentially is come out of college to play in the USFL? Does he still have eligibility yet left? Interesting guy. This is going to be interesting because he's a small school guy. I mean, I've never even heard of this school. What is it called? Tarleton State, I guess. Is that what it means? Tarleton Street. So Ben Holmes, very cool. There's the USFL is now coming out trying to find a player from somewhere else that is not just the generic teams. So there you have it so far. So let's do a quick recap. So we got Shea Patterson, number 1 to the Panthers. My Tampa Bay Bandits get Jordan Ta'amu at number 2. 3 is Brian Scott for the Philadelphia Stars. And number 4 is a newcomer, Ben Holmes, for the New Jersey Generals. All right, my friends. Woo, we are just moving right along, aren't we? What's up, everybody in the chat? How y'all doing? What do you think of these picks? We've got a ton of people watching the draft right now. I can't even read your messages coming through. Tarleton State, does anybody go there? Does anybody ever been there before? Some people say it's Gamblers are on the clock. It's a D2 school. I'd like to know more about him. I am sure that the USFL will have a press release about all these guys. We'll wait for that to come out. Hopefully we can get it while we're live on the stream so we can kind of talk about one of these teams up. All right. The Gamblers are up next, and let's find out who the Gamblers are taking. And we'll learn this from a one Warren Moon.
The 2022 USFL inaugural draft. Wow, what an exciting day for a lot of young athletes. This is Warren Moon here, and I am happy to announce my favorite position and the first round pick for the Houston Gamblers, Clayton Thorson. Looking forward to watching you, Clayton. Houston Gamblers all the way. Let's go, Houston.
There you have it. Clayton Thorson from Northwestern. is your Houston Gamblers, which is one of my favorite uniforms in the USFL. I think they have a great uniform. I'm always interested what's going on with the Houston Roughnecks and the Houston Gamblers. That's kind of an interesting thing with the XFL, like who's going to do what. But there is your quarterback, Gamblers, Clayton Thorson. They're all in. Again, we knew Shea Patterson. He's a recognizable name. Brian Scott played in the Spring League. And of course, Jordan Tamu played in the XFL. Now we've got two younger guys. And remember, we've heard from multiple sources within the USFL saying that they are going younger. They want to go younger in this league. And one of the things that they what we started to see, and I need to get clarification on YouTube, is that sometimes some of these players were told that they're too old to play in the USFL, which I found very interesting that they would be told that. Now that throws a wrench because, some people believe like a guy like Luis Perez, who played in the XFL, could be part of one of these quarterbacks taken in this draft. We don't know. I mean, he would be kind of too on the older side. So we're just going to have to kind of wait and see. But there's definitely two younger school guys out there in the mix for the USFL quarterback class. Let's see here. What else we got? So let's just wait. Clayton Thorson. What do we know about him in the chat? Let me check the chat room. Let's see here. There's all sorts of... Okay, I got to close this. All right, we've got another pick up next. It's the Birmingham Stallions. All right, Birmingham Stallions are up next. Let's see who their pick is, shall we?
Hello, everyone. Bo Jackson here. And
Bo
I'm proud
Jackson.
to announce the first round draft pick, quarterback for the Birmingham Stallions, Alex Magoo. Welcome, Alex, to the team. Proud to have you to represent my home state of Alabama. Looking forward to you and the Stallions run up and down the field this season. Go Stallions. Good luck and God bless.
Yeah, Bo Jackson. Alex Magoo from Florida International is the Birmingham Stallions, which I think is the premier franchise for the USFL, clearly because they're having their games in the hub city of Birmingham. So you're going to need to, that's going to be at Birmingham. I have talked to people from Birmingham going back 2 years ago, people within the city wanting to get involved with XFL. Now they got the USFL right there. All the games are going to be played there starting in April. We'll get the first game on Fox and NBC simulcast for some of you new to the USFL or just trying to learn about it right now. We'll get into all that stuff when this drafting stuff slows down. But Alex Magoo, Florida International quarterback, he is the 6th pick. We got 2 more picks of these quarterbacks in this first round. Giddy up, he is part of the Stallions. Again, another quarterback, small school quarterback out there. Let's get into the chat room, see what you guys think about some of these guys. No Johnny Manziel, get out of here. Wow, this thing is moving fast. And some of these guys I don't recognize. I mean, we have to check Mike Mitchell's list to see where we are at with some of his picks and rumored names out there. And hey, if you're watching Thornton was from Northwestern. One thing I need you guys to do is right now, while you're watching this, subscribe to this channel. We are the #1 source for XFL news and USFL news in the planet. Okay. If you like spring football and want to know everything there is to know about spring football, then subscribe to this channel, smash the like button right now. We'd really appreciate that. Love the super chats. We'll get to your super chats as this draft continues to unfold. But again, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to this channel right now because you will be able to follow all of the spring football. We've got fantasy football. That's right. We're the only ones that have fantasy football out there. So let's go with the next pick let's go with the USFL has put out another video about Alex Magoo, and let's check that one out right now, shall we?
Hey everybody, this is Dabo Sweeney here. Man, I am so excited about the Birmingham
draft. And as you know, I know a little bit about the draft as I was drafted number 1 in 1970.
Oh, here we go. Another pick.
Everyone gathered in Birmingham, Alabama tonight for the 2022 USFL draft. And as you know, I know a little bit about the draft as I was drafted number 1 in 1970 by the Pittsburgh Steelers. So tonight's a great night for me, and I guess it's a great night for Coach Wilson, because with the 7th pick in tonight's 2022 USFL draft, the Pittsburgh Maulers select quarterback Kyle Lauletta. Kyle Lauletta. All right? Hope I got that right. Hello, everyone gathered in Birmingham.
Terry Bradshaw, Kyle Lauletta, University of
Stallions. Growing up south of Birmingham,
University of Richmond is the 7th pick. The quarterback going to the Pittsburgh Maulers, one of my other top favorite uniforms. Interesting name there. Again, we've gotten some named guys in the beginning, and these are a lot of younger guys that I haven't really seen these names. These are guys that haven't played in the spring league. These guys were on practice squads, drafted, and I'm not even sure if these guys were even drafted in the NFL draft. I'm going to have to learn more about Kyle Lauletta and Clayton Thorson. But again, look at these guys' ages. He is 26 years old. The USFL has said that they're going to go younger when it comes to players. We've heard that some players were turned down by the USFL because they were too old. Okay. We'll have to confirm that kind of chatter when we hear it. So Kyle Lauletta is your Pittsburgh Maulers quarterback. So we have one more pick. Is it going to be somebody from the XFL in the past, like a Luis Perez? I don't think so. I think Luis Perez is a little bit on the older side. I think it's got to be somebody on the younger side of things who is coming to the, again, another 26-year-old, Exton, Pennsylvania, selected 108th overall by the New York Giants. So again, these are guys that have been picked, probably bounced around a little bit, but still young, 26, ready to rock and roll, and trying to get an opportunity in the USFL. And remember too, the USFL was all over the place at all these camps, and we finally get the final pick in for the New Orleans Breakers, and we learn who it is from a Hall of Famer quarterback, Mr. Drew Brees.
Hey everybody, Drew Brees here. I'm excited to announce the 8th pick of the New Orleans Breakers, quarterback Kyle Sloter. Congratulations, Kyle. Excited to see you represent New Orleans. Go Breakers.
There you have it. Kyle Sloter from Northern Colorado is the other quarterback. We have our quarterbacks taken in the USFL draft. There you have it. The first round is done. Kyle Sloter is now part of the New Orleans Breakers. Gets played at UNC. Again, he's 28 years old, Atlanta, Georgia, Northern Colorado, signed by the Broncos, an undrafted free agent. I would say a lot of these guys are undrafted free agents that might have signed with an NFL team looking for another shot. I've seen Kyle's name out there before. He is kind of a tall guy, slinging it around. So there is your first round of the USFL draft. Whew. There you go. All right. What do you guys think of the first round of the draft? We'll get to your chats here in a second. I'm trying to get to some of these super chats. I really appreciate the super chats. Remember, smash the like button and subscribe to our channel if you want to it's put on that notification bell, because when we go live with something big, we're going to be there for you to talk about spring football. We cover everything in spring football. So the first round is done. Appreciate the super chats. I'm trying to find the super chats. Lots of chatter going on in here. I'm happy to see all you guys, some familiar faces, new faces. Pip 2323 says Minnesota Vikings legend. Is that where I heard him from? Kyle Slaughter. Greg says, who are making the picks? The head coaches? Yeah, the coaches. I think everybody is making the pitch. That's from Greg. Zayden says, how do I watch? You cannot watch. You have to watch here. That's all you can watch it. It is not live on television anywhere, but you can get all the picks here, hanging out with me on XFL News Hub. Reaction. Who in the chat? I want you to tell me who had the best. I want to get likes to at least 200 likes, by the way. So smash that like button. Out of all the picks, you guys in the chat room, who had the best pick? I think it's and I'm going to get the merch tonight. The Tampa Bay Bandits will get that first with Jordan Ta'amu. I'm super excited. That's awesome. So let me know who had the best pick in the chat room. Leave a chat there. Also, so what's up next? All right, was moving right along. Next up. So now for rounds 2 through 4, we'll have defensive end. We'll probably go for another half an hour, see what some of these picks are. Then we've got offensive tackle, cornerback. Round 12 will be quarterbacks again, wide receivers, safeties, centers, inside linebackers. So this draft is going to go all the way on till 10 o'clock at night. I'm not going to stay on all the way till 10 o'clock at night. I don't know if I want to sit here and do round after round of offensive tackles. We all just wanted to kind of get to the quarterback section. Now, this is only day 1. There is a day 2 tomorrow. Now, so here is the draft things for tomorrow. We'll take a look at this here while we check things out. All right, so the USFL, the United States Football League, unveiled its 35-round inaugural draft. It will take place over 2 days. We've got the first round today. Today will consist of 12 rounds and proceed by position. So we're going to start with the quarterbacks. We've got all quarterbacks out. Stay tuned to XFL News Hub for a recap of all that, followed by edge rushers and defensive ends. That could be interesting. That's rounds 2 through 4. That kind of gives you an idea of where the league rates these kind of players and how important they are. And edge rushers and defensive ends are pretty kind of stars too in the league. Then you get really what is thin in all leagues, including the NFL, is offensive tackle. That is going to be a big time, trying to find talent in that range in the offensive line is going to be really tough. Then we have cornerback from rounds 8 through 11, and then back to the quarterbacks in the final round for round 12. Maybe we get more of a seasoned veteran. So we'll get to the quarterbacks round 12, and that will round it out for today. And then tomorrow, we'll move on from that and go on to wide receivers, which is also going to be a interesting draft thing. So here you go. Here is the first round of the draft. Hold on a second. We'll recap these picks here for you. And as I am switching and things are moving. All right. So here you go. Round 1 quarterbacks. You have Shea Patterson, the number 1 overall pick for the Panthers. Jordan Ta'amu, baby, with the Tampa Bay Bandits. Super excited about that. Brian Scott, glad he's getting a shot in the USFL. It was a great run in the Spring League. Ben Holmes with the New Jersey Generals at number 4. Clayton Thorson for the Gamblers at 5. Alex Magoo for the Birmingham Stallions. I'm getting all over the place. And then Kyle Luleta is in Pittsburgh, and Kyle Slaughter is with the Nolans Breakers. Next up, we have round 2 is defensive end and edge rushers. Could we see some different names out here? Here are the names on, now this isn't just like a normal draft. It's kind of like a snake draft. Now that the Breakers had the final pick in the draft of the quarterbacks, they'll get the first pick for the defensive end. Then you've got the Maulers at 2, Stallions at 3, Gamblers at 4, the Generals are at 5, the Stars are at 6, the Bandits at 7, and the Panthers are at 8. So there you have it. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel as always, and make sure to put that out on social media with a hashtag of USFL draft. Let's get that USFL draft trending on Twitter, shall we? Just do your due diligence, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do your due diligence. Hey, let's check out this video that came out a little while ago talking about the USFL draft before we get into the next pick. All right, so check this video out.
It's time for the USFL draft. We've been waiting a long time for this, but these little cards we're going to have an opportunity to fill out tonight. And for the last couple months, we've all had football teams. We've all been named head coaches, but we don't have a team. Tonight, we start to put faces and names together on that team, and it's only going to create that much more excitement and energy. I have been involved in college football for 35 years, where putting your class together is a year-long process. This one obviously is a lot more went into building tonight than just tonight, but tonight we're going to have 12 players on a roster when this night's over, and tomorrow we're going to have 35. On March 10th, we're going to have another 10. We're going to have 45 on our roster there. I mean, so just the way this whole thing is going about and being put together, excited to be part of the USFL, excited to be part of this draft. But for me, how awesome is it to bring 8 teams into Birmingham? And as I have said time and time again, the only thing that's going to be better than playing in Birmingham is going to be playing for the Birmingham Stallions.
There you go, head coach of the Birmingham Stallions, Skip Holtz. We know his last name, Lou Holtz. So he is part of the USFL, and I think he's been a good ambassador so far for the league. Excited for him to be part of the USFL and see how he does in the league. Things are popping. Our website is popping. Appreciate everybody on there. Appreciate everybody checking in on the stream. I'm going to head over to the YouTube. Let's see here. Seth on Twitter says, I bet it was being, he says, Thurston has NFL experience. Ben Holmes played in the IFL with Arizona. Thank you, Seth, checking in on the Twitter. Appreciate that. And again, appreciate everybody. Subscribe. Make sure if you're on social media, you can follow us anywhere on social media. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, the whole deal. What was I going to do? I was going to pull this up, and this is a live show, my friends, a live show. Tons of people watching. Hello to everybody on Twitch. Hello to everybody on Twitter. Hello, everybody on Facebook, big Facebook crowd. And hello to everybody on YouTube's checking out the USFL inaugural draft. You notice they call it the inaugural draft. They don't call it, the second draft, because for whatever reason, the league has kind of distanced itself from the original USFL, sort of, but let's see here, but not the original league, the whole thing to it. All right, we're getting back into the draft. We have our next pick in the USFL draft, the New Orleans Breakers defensive end, Davin Bellamy, edge rusher. He's first in the second round of the USFL draft. Oh, I'm going to have to do a whole spreadsheet on all these guys. Oh my goodness. Maybe busy guy over the next couple days. Let's check out the USFL. If you want to get USFL merch, you can just go to theusfl.com. Let's check out what's going on their website while we're hanging out here for a second. All right, the draft day is right now. You can buy tickets. They have the draft order. They don't really have anything going on with the draft just yet. I wonder if they'll have players and teams and data and all that kind of good stuff. So David Bellamy is now your first defensive player taken in the USFL draft out of Georgia. What do you think of him? Davin Bellamy, Georgia. We will get clearly from the, let's see here. From the USFL, we'll definitely get more information as this draft moves forward. I'm just checking to make sure that I got everything handled on the stream. Got tons of questions. Hey, if you're on Facebook, make sure you like the Facebook stream. We'd appreciate that too. Help us out with that stuff. All right, let's see here. So Davin Bellamy is your first defensive player. Up next is the Pittsburgh Maulers. Wonder who they're going to take in the draft. We'll give this. I thought this page would automatically refresh. Apparently it doesn't. Let's see. Or do I have to refresh the page every time? No, we'll see. Does this have like an auto refresh or something? All right, there you go. So the defensive part of the draft has begun in the XFL. Or I'm sorry, for the USFL. Lots of action. I'm glad that they've decided to do this at night, kind of prime time-ish, and not, during the workday, because that would be kind of a little tough to cover for y'all out there. So let's see here. Checking all my different chats and all this other stuff, seeing what's going on. Let's see. What else do we got? Let's check out on the Facebook. James says he declares himself eligible for the draft. Okay. Jason says, thank you for streaming the draft. Let's go Birmingham Stallions. I think the Stallions I think in order for the USFL to succeed well, I think they need to have the franchise that needs to do the best really is the Birmingham Stallions, in my opinion. Ty says, I'm hoping the XFL merges with the USFL. Oh, we got another pick. Oh, hold on. Let's check this out. A video from the USFL. I think this must be kind of a joke, perhaps, but let's check out this video they got here.
Proudly announced with the first pick of the 2022 USFL Draft, the Michigan Panthers select quarterback Shea Patterson. Great to have Shea representing Michigan again on the football field. Go.
I don't think that's real. All right, the number 2 pick in the USFL Draft, defensive player Carlo Kemp, University of Michigan, with the second pick of the USFL Draft, going to the Pittsburgh Maulers. So now we're getting some more named guys, some other named schools like Georgia, University of Michigan. The XFL kind of had their teams, a lot of their teams were kind of with the big schools. We saw in the beginning of the draft, with the quarterbacks, there weren't quarterbacks from Alabama or LSU because those guys are in the NFL, or USC. These were kind of smaller school guys, quarterbacks. And now what we're seeing in the defensive side of things, we're seeing more bigger schools. So Carlo Kemp from the University of Michigan is the number 2 pick in the USFL draft. So let me know in the chat, what do you think of the draft so far? Hold on. Let's go back here. So with the next pick in the USFL draft will be the Birmingham Stallions. Who are they going to pick next in the USFL draft? We're just going to have to find out. I have to just keep hitting refresh, apparently, to find out what's happening next. Well, I appreciate everybody for stopping by. Make sure you subscribe and smash that like button. We'd really appreciate that. to get the word out. Now, I think each team has, correct me if I'm wrong, let's go back to the draft details. Let's check it out here. So we're looking forward to conducting an inaugural draft for the first 280 players over 2 days using a modified snake system. Where was that? So here are the rules for the USFL draft as we are waiting for the next pick. Should a team let its time expire in any round without a selection, it can be chosen a player, but it risks letting the team on the clock take the player it was considering. Trades between teams to achieve a different selection order or acquire a player will not be permitted. There will be no trades, my friends. Teams may select to pass during any round in exchange for a compensatory pick that may be used at the conclusion of a different position round. Interesting strategy there. I'm not really sure what to do that. If more than one team utilizes a compensatory pick in a given round, the draft order within that position round will determine the order for the compensatory selection. The USFL will also conduct a 10-round supplemental draft on March 10th to select 80 more players. That's going to be critical too. Those supplemental drafts brought a lot of players into the XFL as well. All right, we are on to the third pick in the second round of the USFL 2020 draft. Don't you want to know? Oh, we got 2 picks. Aaron Adonye, Southeast Missouri State, at the second pick for the Birmingham Stallions. So there is your edge rusher for Birmingham. There you have it. At the round number 2, fourth pick in the USFL draft, Chris Odom, Arkansas State, edge rusher, the fourth pick to the Houston Gamblers. Chris Odom is now part of the Houston Gamblers. What do you think of that, my friends in the chat? Just moving right along here in the 2022 USFL draft. Woo! This is going to be an interesting season. It's going to be interesting how the USFL and XFL coexist together going forward. But you can see for the most part, the USFL so far is sticking to what they said they were going to do, which is keeping the picks in the draft more on the younger side. We're not going to see guys that are in their 30s in the USFL. There's really no need to at this point. Brian Woods has said that from the beginning. I've heard others talk about that too, that they want to keep the league younger, to give these guys 2 or 3 years opportunity in the USFL and then maybe get a shot at the NFL level. But the question remains, with all these spring football leagues, you have the XFL, which we cover clearly, XFL News Hub, USFL. Hey, if USFL is the king, then our name changes. Don't worry, I've already bought it. The other league out there that we're covering too in spring football is Fan Control Football League, based out of Atlanta, Georgia. They're doing a lot of cool things. They're building their own stadium and it looks awesome. And there's a whole crypto NFT thing that they're doing, and they're a lot of fun. I actually have, I'll show you. Behind me, I have Yoda right there, but I also have my Fan Control Football that I got for Christmas. So there you go. So Fan Control Football, that's another league that is out there. Those are basically the 3 spring football leagues that we cover on XFL News Hub. Then you have on CFL News Hub, our other sister site, you have we cover the CFL and ELF on CFL News Hub. So we got XFL News Hub for American, then CFL for Canadian and global leagues there. All right, we were in with another pick, the New Jersey Generals. I went with some Hokies, man. See, I'm wearing my Hokie colors. Virginia Tech, family, brother went to Virginia Tech, so Hokies is my team, college team. But with the 5th pick And the 2022 USFL draft, the New Jersey, and I'm from New York, New Jersey Generals select Bryson Young from Oregon. Bryson Young from Oregon is your edge rusher for the New Jersey Generals. Congratulations to him in the draft. So New Jersey Generals are done. Next up in the draft order, we've got the Stars, and then my Bandits, and then the Panthers, and then we wrap it up. So we got 3 more picks in the second round, defensive end. Now remember, we were talking about this earlier. We've got rounds 2 through 4 are defensive end. Then we get into the offensive tackle, then cornerbacks, and then we close it out. So probably around 9:30, there's going to be another round of quarterbacks. It looks like each round is lasting about a half an hour. I mean, if that's the case, I think they're going to be going much later than that. So we'll have to see. Yeah, because I mean, then you're done with round 4 at 8. I don't know, man. This could be a lot longer than they anticipated unless they shorten it up a little bit. But this is what's coming out right now. And clearly this is live going on. So the New Jersey Generals. So you'll get defensive ends for the next couple of rounds. Then we'll get into offensive tackles, cornerbacks, and then quarterbacks for round 12. And then that is it. And then we're back. All right, we've got another pick for the Philadelphia Stars with the 6th pick in the USFL draft. The Philadelphia Stars select Freedom Akinmoladun from Nebraska. Clearly played for the Bengals at some point. He is the 6th pick defensive end in the USFL draft. So there you have it. Next up is my Tampa Bay Bandits. I need to get, so I have the USFL hat, which I don't even know if you can get this on their store anymore. I was like one of the first people to buy stuff. Now we're going to have, let's close this. I need to get my Tampa Bay Bandits merch. Now you can go to the store. If you go to theusfl.com, you can buy merch right now, and they're adding merch. I think what they were really doing, I mean, in the beginning, the merch was not very good, to say the least, but it's gotten better. I think a lot of it was they're just waiting for the NFL season to wrap up. So what do you think in the chat? Hello, everybody in the chat room. Love the super chats. I appreciate it so much. This will go towards my wife's haircut, so that she's not mad at me for not hanging out with her. Hey, we're up to 156 likes. We need to get that to 200 before this draft is over. Appreciate everybody coming on. Lots of spam going on here. Let's do that as much as I can to get rid of some of these spamoids. Get out of here. But that means that it's a very popular... let's see. What happens if I do that? I'll just get to, okay. Let's get rid of some of this spam here in the chat. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Let's see, what else? Yes, what a name. Phil H says, yes, what a name. I agree with you that. And I could get it. I mean, I was able to say it. Appreciate all these new people. Remember, we've got a show every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern. This podcast, you can get it anywhere. You can watch XFL Week in Review. Clearly, we talk about the USFL all the time. We just haven't changed the name yet. So you can watch that on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch anytime you want. And that is our podcast. And then you have the Markcast. You can find all about both shows on XFL News Hub, or just, go to any one of your podcast shows. You got Stitcher, Audible, Player FM. We're on everywhere. All right, we got another pick, my friends. Another pick. So the Tampa Bay Bandits, my Tampa Bay Bandits, select McKee Brown from Alabama. Here you go. Finally, an Alabama native player with a big-time school. He's your defensive edge rusher with the 7th pick in the 2nd round of the USFL draft. Congratulations to him. Tampa Bay Bandits. So we got Jordan Ta'amu as our quarterback and Makai Brown from Alabama as our edge rusher. There's going to be a lot of information coming out about these players in the draft once we kind of settle, everything settles on this thing. If we were to do this right, man, we would have multiple people working on this thing. But it's just me because we're just starting out. Hey, we got one more pick in this draft. Any of these names jump out at you in the chat room? I mean, do you see somebody you're like, wow, I can't believe they got this guy, or who are these people? Remember, the XFL, USFL have all been doing these. They've been at college things. There's tons of data on so many players out there that there's no question that, everybody knows who's everybody is. That's interesting. These guys, we didn't really hear their names if they were, were they possible, interested in playing in the CFL this year. But we're getting, a lot of these guys young. Are they still in college? Are they in one of the things the USFL talked about was the transfer protocol players or transfer portal players, that they were looking at having younger guys. They were looking at younger guys that still weren't even eligible for a year or two for the NFL draft that wanted to play in the USFL. So I don't know if any of these guys are one of those, but we'll have to wait and see once the dust settles and we kind of get information about everybody. And of course, we'll have all of that on XFLNewsHub.com. So we're waiting on one final pick in the USFL draft, where we get the, which will be the Michigan Panthers. They have the final pick in the 2nd round of the USFL draft. And it looks like, each round is a half an hour long. So being done at 10 p.m. from 7 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern, I think we're going to go a lot longer than that. But we'll go all the way for this first round. We got a lot of people checking out the draft. We'll just keep going. I probably need to sit down at some point. But then you'll see kind of, here's what's to come. We've got a couple rounds of defensive end. And then we got, that will be the next couple rounds before we get into, thanks for everybody for subscribing and smashing that like button. Really appreciate that. We are so close. We've got to get to 200 likes before the end of this round. Come on, just take a second and smash that like button. We've got the final pick coming up soon with the Pittsburgh or the Michigan Panthers. Appreciate everybody for hanging out. Chat room is just going ballistic. Love it. We've got the final pick in the 2nd round of the USFL draft. Now they're calling it the inaugural draft. Remember, they're not really saying that this is. They're tying themselves to the old USFL, but not really. At least data. All right, we've got our final pick in the draft for the 2nd round. 8th pick overall, Ndalwe Adeo. I don't know. Utah State defensive end. Then I got his picture. He is the final pick in the USFL draft's 2nd round, 8th pick for the edge rusher up next. So there you have it, friends. The first round of the quarterbacks are taken. The first round of defensive ends, we're going to go to round 3, which will be defensive ends, and then round 4 will be defensive ends as well. This has been a lot of fun, my friends. Hey, also, if you're interested in playing fantasy football, that is a big thing that we want to make sure you are aware of, is playing fantasy football. And there's just stuff everywhere if you're interested in fantasy football, we have a website for you. Let me see if it's up. Nope, that is not it. Hold on. Is this it? Let's see. No, it's not. Oh, no. There we go. So if you're interested in playing fantasy football, we just launched on Monday, and the link is in the description on the YouTube stream, is News Hub Fantasy. That's right. So you can play fantasy football for the XFL, USFL, CFL, and Fan Control football leagues on this platform. This is alpha stage. So of course we don't have any data, but right now you can create an account, you can log in, you can go and create a league, you can join a league. Leagues are starting to form now. It's News Hub Fantasy. This is on the down low. We're only talking about it on people on the stream to get the word out, but there's going to be a new skin. The new skin is going to look like this. That is done. I just need to implement it. But there is a place to play fantasy football. You'll be able to play USFL. I'm optimistic that you can play USFL fantasy. Again, I need to be able to get the roster data. I need to be able to get the stats in a timely manner to be able to do it. I don't want to hand jam it in, but we do have fantasy football. So you head over to, this is what it will look like, but right now it's just on this alpha stage. It's News Hub Fantasy. You can chat with people in your league. And there's all sorts of settings, and you can customize your leagues about the points, how you want the points to be calculated, and so on and so forth. All right, so let's check out a recap of the first round of the USFL draft. Round 2 of the USFL draft. You have Davin Bellamy, Carlo Kemp, Aaron Adonye, Chris Odom, Bryson Young, Freedom, Akinmaladun, Makai Brown, and Adwale Adeyo. I feel like that name looks familiar. Do I know him from somewhere? Chat. What's up, chat? Do we know him from somewhere? Let's see here. Let's see here. Clint says, already signed up for News Hub Fantasy today. Thank you, Clint. Appreciate that. LM says, how many people in the league? Eight, because that's where, that's kind of where things need to be is at 8, because you only have 8 teams. So you can't have 10 people league, because how are you going to do that? Antonio Brown to the USFL, 343 Fox Den says, LOL. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. Let's see if I can get to some other chats. Christina says, and mine, Tampa Bay Bandits picked my former St. Louis Battlehawks QB. I am so psyched, and I live down here. I can't wait until they are here to Tampa to play. Kakal. Yes, Kakal is a law. That was a big get for the league to get somebody like a Jordan Ta'amu to play in the league. Super excited for him to be on our team. Me and Christina's team is Jordan Ta'amu. Joseph says, bro, they literally drafted the guy who threw a punch at his coach in Natty. Who is that? Joseph Armstrong. He's from Tennessee State, not Alabama. Which guy is he talking about? Joseph Armstrong. Let us know in the chat. David says, Aldule ex-Utah State played in the spring league. Okay, see, I knew something. Now the chat is kind of chilling out as we're slowing down on this pace a little bit. Oh, Makai Brown, Joseph Armstrong says he punched his coach. Dang. What's that? I haven't heard that story yet, but I'm sure that will come out. Now remember, on XFL News Hub, he tried to punch Saban, JS says. Dang. Okay. Interesting there. We'll see how that goes down. All right. We are on to the next draft. We're on to round 3. We'll keep it going. All right. We got local Maryland, because I'm based in Maryland. The Panthers, with the first pick in the 3rd round, they selected Kevon Walker from University of Maryland. There you go. Third round, first pick. We'll keep going. We'll do one more round with this, and then we'll kind of wrap things up. So remember, check out News Hub Fantasy. We appreciate that. Smash the like. You guys are killing the like button. We're over 200 likes. Nice. I appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. That's the main thing. Subscribe to the channel, and then you can follow all of the coverage on the social media once we start getting into they'll start getting into weeds with offensive tackle and all this other stuff. It's on Twitter, Facebook, and then we will have a full recap of all of the players selected and broken down by team. So our writers at XFL News Hub will break things down per team, and that will have it out for you, hopefully tonight, but definitely by tomorrow, and on to that. All right, for the next Tampa Bay Bandits with the second pick, they select Michael Scott, Oklahoma State. Not that Michael Scott from Dunder Mifflin. I'm sure he gets that all the time. The Tampa Bay Bandits, cool. Oklahoma State with the third round, second pick. Then we've got the next pick, the Philadelphia Stars. They take Gus Cumberlander, third round pick from Oregon. Very congratulations to that. Let's see here. This is from the Birmingham Stallions. Second round, third. So there we're at. Philadelphia Stars. Gus Cumberlander from Oregon is now your next player as we move right along on this draft. Very exciting stuff. Make sure you like everything. I would be stunned if the USFL draft isn't trending on Twitter. All right, we got the next pick. Colin Hill from Texas Tech is in command with the New Jersey Generals. He is in the third round, the fourth pick. We're moving right along from Texas Tech in the USFL draft. Very cool that we got things moving here with the USFL and its draft. It's pretty cool that the USFL even got the little logo thing going on with the USFL draft, the little Twitter thing. I know, I think like Dogecoin was trying to get something like that for a long time. Get the little Doge dog out there. I would assume hopefully the XFL has something like that as well. So there you go. We have the first four picks in this third round. We'll go through them one more time. Kevon Walker from Maryland. That name sounds familiar too. Michael Scott for the Tampa Bay Bandits. Gus Cumberlander for Philadelphia Stars with the ugliest uniforms. I'm sorry, Philly, you lost it. You lost. Anybody that puts Philadelphia Stars as the number one Ronald McDonald uniform, come on. All the other forms are great uniforms. It's just that one. And then we have Colin Hill, Texas Tech, with the fourth pick to the New Jersey Generals. With the fifth pick, Ahmad Gooden from Sanford is now part of the Houston Gamblers. So he is in with the number 5 pick. Groovin right along. What's up, chat room? Let's check in with you guys real quick. Lots of stuff going on. Wow, he punched Nick Saban. I didn't think I ever heard of that one. He took a swing at him. In the national championship, YouTube it. It's crazy. At the national championship, Phil H says, at the national championship, YouTube it. Armin Dowell says, look out for Aaron Dowell, offensive line, and Darren Dowell. Armand, do you happen to be related to any of these? You had the same last name. Kevin Smith, Brown played for Coach Eddie George at Tennessee State. Cool there. Coco says, which pick number would you want to have for defensive end? Breakers have the first pick, but don't get another edge until the 16th. I don't know. The problem with some of these drafts is that even in the XFL, these guys get drafted high, but then they didn't wind up doing anything. So it's really going to be, coming down the training camp and how these guys do. That's going to be the question there. Let's go. Vinny says, look for Malik Smith out there in the draft. Okay. Let's get back to, we got another one. Nope, we're still waiting with the 5th pick. We already got that in. Ahmad Gooden with the 5th pick, and we wait for the next one from the Houston Gamblers. We'll see what's up next. So make sure, appreciate everybody smashing that like button. We got a ton of likes. And subscribing to the channel. We really appreciate that because we are going to have you covered. We're going to have you covered fantasy football wise with News Hub Fantasy. We're going to cover you with the news. We have a phone app, actually. After this round is done, we'll play a little commercial. You could download the XFL News phone app and get all this news on your phone. And a lot of you, this is the first time you're kind of seeing and getting involved in spring football. It is a lot of fun. We had XFL News up clearly when XFL was rocking and rolling. We didn't cover the AAF. I was getting a little worried there. Then they went under, and I was like, cool. Probably should have, looking back on it, just to learn a lot of the players. And so we've been covering this for a long time. A lot of our reporters are entrenched and in the trenches in the USFL, know a lot of agents, players, people within the league, coaches, the whole deal. So you want to stay with XFL News Hub, the number one source for XFL news and USFL news by far. And I can prove it with the data to back it up, my friends. Waiting on the next pick. We'll give this one a like too. Make sure you're getting out there. Like, all right, we got the next pick, the final pick, Birmingham Stallions. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The sixth pick, the Birmingham Stallions select Chauncey Haney, North Greenville, another small school, with the third pick. So he is giddy up. He's in the squad. Chauncey Haney is there with the sixth pick for the Birmingham Stallions. All right. So we got two more picks left to end this round. I mean, they're moving in. They're moving pretty fast. So we'll hang out here. But I would say it's a mixture. Mostly small schools. I mean, what do you think in the chat room? First of all, let me go check in. What's going on the Facebook? I got my Facebook people saying anything. What's up, Facebook? Jeffrey says round 2 through 4 is edge, correct? Bob says, isn't round 3 offensive tackles? No, it is not. Peter says, 8, the XFL and USFL both run by NBC and Fox? No. The XFL is run by The Rock, Danny Garcia, and Redbird Capital. We don't know who the XFL is partnered with. Fox owns the USFL, and they partnered with NBC. And the first game of the USFL season will take place April 16th. It's going to be on Fox and NBC at the exact same time. That's right. The exact same time. Those games are going to be on television, which is really cool and unique and different. I think that's going to be a big thing for the league. Also, the USFL is going to play its playoff game and championship game at the Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, in their brand new stadium. That's where the USFL will crown its inaugural champion, even though they're named the USFL and the same logos, but they're not taking the stats from the past. So that's why they call this the inaugural draft. I don't make this stuff up. It's just, I'm just here to report it. It's not my choice. All right, we got another player taken on the draft for the Pittsburgh Maulers. They have selected Nazir Player, East Tennessee State, 3rd round, 7th pick in the USFL draft. We've got one more pick to go at defensive end in the USFL draft. East Tennessee State. Again, a lot of these smaller school guys playing in this league. Pretty dang interesting what they're kind of doing with this league. Let's see what else we got in the chat room. Greg says, Michigan fan, I like the pick. Go blue. All right. Can I do this? Can I just do super chats? Appreciate the super chats from everybody. Top chat, live chat. Let's see. I appreciate the donations out there. We try to, and the 228 likes. Let's get that to 250. So if you're just hopped on right now, make sure you get Smash that like button. Get us to 250. That we'd really appreciate that. Let's see here. Who else we got? A lot of new names in the chat. Matthew says, why not stay on the whole time? It will grow your page. I guess that's a long stream, my friend. That's a long time. I mean, if you guys want me to stay, I can stay. But we're already, I don't know. We'll see about that. That's a long couple hours to talk, my friend. Long couple hours to talk. So we're still at the round 3, the 7th pick. I tell you what, we'll stay to that first round of the offensive tackles, and then we'll call it after that, because here's what you got left: defensive ends, then offensive tackle, cornerback, and then quarterback in round 12. So maybe we'll stick around to see that offensive tackle. So we've got the final pick in the third round, 8th pick. I mean, especially if things are starting to move quicker. We've got Henri St. Amour, Georgia Tech, with the final pick of the third round, 8th pick overall for the New Orleans Breakers. So here we have round 3 is completed. You have Kayvon Walker, Panthers, Michael Scott, your Tampa Bay Bandits. The McDonald's Stars, Gus Cumberlander. New Jersey Generals, Colin Hill. 5, Ahmad Gooden. The Houston Gamblers, 6, the Birmingham Stallions, Chauncey Haney. Pittsburgh, Nazir Player for the Pittsburgh Maulers. And finally, Henri St. Amour for the New Orleans Breakers, rounding out round 3. What do you think so far, my friends? Social media is a-buzzing with the USFL draft. What is your take on all this exciting action? Let me check. No press releases or anything out like that from the USFL talking about all these players. I hope that they have a nice background and just a nice list or something. They're going to be working late tonight, as are my guys on XFL News Hub, because we're going to be writing all sorts of stuff. So we continue with the USFL draft. Hey, let's take a little commercial break. That's what I wanted to do. Take a little commercial break, and we'll be right back with more of our coverage of the USFL draft.
What's up, XFL Army? If you're a fan of the XFL News Hub and you have a telephone, which I know all of you do because you're sitting there playing on your phones all the time, then why not download the XFL News Hub app? That's right, it's on iTunes. It's on Android. We have an Android version and an iPhone version of the XFL News Hub app. So what do you get? You get the latest news from XFL News Hub, the premier source of XFL news in the universe. Plus, you get push notifications when we have breaking news. You will be the first to know. You can leave a comment on some of the news right from your phone. Plus, you get this podcast on your phone as well. Remember, you can leave us reviews on the Google Play Store or iTunes. It links to other social media, our other social media accounts, and so much more. Be in the know. I know you're on your phones. People are on their phones all the time. They never get off their phones. So why not just download the XFL News Hub app on your Android or iPhone today? All you need to do is go to the Google Play Store or iTunes and just type in XFL News Hub. That's XFL News Hub. Download our app on your phone today.
There you go. Now you know where you could download the iPhone app for XFL News Hub. Oh my, they got some pictures on the YouTube. All right, what do we got next? Round 4. Ready to rock and roll. Round 4. Defensive end at edge. Breakers are number 1. Check out this picture. She's going to get wrecked, this lady. She's going to get wrecked. But okay. Round 4. Defensive end. Edge rushers, breakers, maulers, stallions, gamblers, generals, stars, and bandits. Remember, this is round 4. This is the final round for defensive end, and then we go into the offensive tackle of the USFL draft. So this is up next. Things have moved a little bit quicker. Instead of taking a half an hour for that first round and a half an hour for the second round, now things are moving into 15-minute increments, which is good because they got to move up this pace if they want to get all this stuff done, my friends. What do you think? So round 4 is about to begin with all sorts of picks. I'm just going through my messages, seeing what's up. Lots of tons and tons of chatter. A draft is always good. A draft is always a good thing. For the USFL to really start to get people. One of the knocks with the USFL was that, fans weren't paying attention much. But now, now that there's players and there's a draft, that maybe now we get, let's see here. I'm just looking through stuff. Yeah, Jordan Tamu. I am going to like and retweet that. That now maybe these leagues will start to gather more interest in the XFL. In the USFL. And then you just had The Rock this past week, actually a couple of days ago, talking about this partnership on yesterday, about this partnership with the NFL. That's big, huge news too. So there's a lot of things going on with spring football. People are like, spring football, blah, blah, blah. Oh, hey, we're at 241 likes. We need 9 more likes to get to 250 before the next round starts. Come on. And I appreciate all the tips left for us. I appreciate that as well as my voice starts to wane here as we keep going. We're going to keep plugging on until we get to that round 5. All right, what else do you think's checking in on the chat room? My friends in the chat. Always hanging out. Appreciate you hanging out. Landon says, Birmingham winning it all. We're going to have, one of our writers will have a recap of, power ranking. We did a power ranking for, for the start of the season. All right, we did it. Thank you, everybody on the stream. I wish I could like your stream a dozen times. 343 Foxden. Appreciate that. We're at over 250 likes. I appreciate that. You guys are so kind. What was I saying? Philip says, doing a good job, Mark. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it. I forget where I was going. All right. Were we going to go on to more of the draft? Nothing new just yet. What I wanted to say, I'm checking things out. Is that we're doing a power ranking. So we did like a way too early power ranking based on the coaches. Matt Lyons from XFL News Hub was writing it. Clearly, after the draft, we'll have a power ranking again. And here we go with the next pick, the 4th round. First pick, James Falston Jr., the New Orleans Breakers take him from Pittsburgh. So he didn't get picked by the Pittsburgh Maulers in the next draft. That would have been kind of cool. We haven't seen any of those per se, have we? Well, players were drafted and then they were part of their, their college played there or any of that kind of stuff. So next up is the Pittsburgh Maulers. So here's the draft order again. We have the Maulers, Stallions, Gamblers, General Stars, Bandits, and Panthers. Again, this is just kind of going back and forth. But then it switches, and then other people will have the first pick in other rounds. And really, if I wanted to have the first pick in any round, it really is probably the that's funny. All right, Pittsburgh Maulers are up next. Oh, this is good. They got all sorts of social media stuff going on. All right, next up, Pittsburgh Maulers select Eric Asua, Western Michigan. Round 4, second pick. This is funny. Who doesn't like a little office thing going on there? Great show. My wife doesn't like The Office. She's always like, I don't like The Office. I think it's... There you go. So Eric Asawa, Western Michigan, with the pick. He is the second pick in the 4th round of the USFL draft. Keep it moving. This is the final round of defensive ends. And if I'm not mistaken, if we check on the list here, defensive ends aren't going to be taken anymore. So that's it. Once we get through this round, unlike QB at 12, we don't really go back and pick anything else. So wide receivers, that's going to be a good one tomorrow, wide receivers. It's interesting. And then they're going to close out with running backs. That's also going to be a big one. Tight ends and halfbacks, kickers, punters, and then long snappers will round things out for the draft. So once this section is done, that's it. Now remember, they're going to have a supplemental draft in March just before training camp starts. And this is to find if there's any other guys out there. The XFL had a supplemental draft before their season kicked in. Guys getting cut or changes happening, maybe with the CFL, guys that were with the CFL that might have left the CFL. Like, who knows? So that's why they leave this draft open. All right, we got another pick in Birmingham Stallions. Giddy up, Birmingham. You've got Seth Thomas from Northern Iowa is your edge rusher. Pick number 3, round 4, Seth Thomas, Northern Iowa is your guy. Congratulations to him as well. And it's going to be real interesting to see who of these players. I mean, there's going to be an opportunity, I think, with some of these guys. I mean, they all signed contracts saying that they wanted to play. Before they were getting selected, they signed a contract saying that they were going to play. And now if they get calls from the NFL, that would change things. But other than that, these guys should all be in. Like, they know what they're signing up for. They know what the pay is. All of that stuff has been laid out for them. So it's ready to rock and roll. Let's go. And we shouldn't foresee any of these guys bailing unless their agents signed them up and they personally were never interested and told their agent no, and they still got picked anyway. I mean, we can run into a situation like that. But for the most part, I believe a lot of these guys will stay. I remember the XFL did a player pool, and some of those guys named in there. Then those players had said, no, I'm not interested. And we interviewed one of the agents for one of the players because he was saying, he had a full-time job and it wasn't worth it. So that's why he was out. And that's why I think also the league is looking at guys that are a little bit younger because these guys still are fighting for that dream for the NFL, where guys in their 28s, 30s might have already gotten a full-time gig and aren't going to come out to do that. Next up, for the Houston Gamblers, round 4, pick 4, Daquan Brown, Central Oklahoma. He is now part of your Houston Gamblers, and we're halfway through round 4. 4 more picks. Oh, we got another one. The New Jersey Generals have selected Malik Hamner from Jackson State, 4th round, 5th pick in the draft for the New Jersey Generals. We'll have to have a list of all these guys' picks. Hopefully we get a good list from the USFL when it comes to all these players selected in their school and some kind of data to back them up, because these guys, clearly the quarterbacks, who are you going to take in your fantasy draft? The thing with fantasy and what we're doing that's going to be different because there's only 8 teams. Remember, you can go to News Hub Fantasy. It's right here. Oh, no, that's not it. Nope. Switch over here. News Hub Fantasy is, you can go to newshubfantasy.com and sign up for XFL, USFL, CFL, and Fan Control Football Fantasy Leagues right now. With the USFL and fantasy, you can't really, and I've explained this before on the podcast, you can't have a fantasy league of 8 teams and be able to draft a quarterback. You can't, because some idiot is going to go the first 3 rounds and take a quarterback in each round. And then what's going to happen? The rest of the people are going to get pissed. Or, I mean, everybody should pick a quarterback in the first round, but what if their quarterback gets injured and somebody takes the backup from somebody else, and then all of a sudden that guy is going to play the rest of the season without a quarterback? And then guess what happens? They're going to stop playing. I mean, you already have, we'll call it attrition when it comes to fantasy football, where people just stop playing. But I don't want to give people even more reasons to stop playing. So I think what we're going to do, because the leagues are so small, is that you draft the Tampa Bay Bandits and your quarterback is Jordan Ta'amu. If he gets pulled and somebody else gets put in, then that's your quarterback and you'll get their stats for the season. I think that's the fairest way to do it. Rather than, people using their draft pick. I don't find the strategy in it. And my goal with fantasy football, as somebody who wants people to use the site clearly, is I'm trying to make it as sticky as possible so that people stay and continue to play fantasy football. What happens too sometimes in these fantasy leagues is that people will start playing and then stop playing. Built into our system already is that it will take, if you don't log in for say 2 or 3 weeks, the system will pick the best lineup based on your available players. So at least keeps the game competitive. Because who's not been in a fantasy football league where all of a sudden, somebody stops playing and then you get the big win. And meanwhile, that could have implications for playoffs. And some of you guys, a lot of you guys, I would assume, play for money. And, that could cost you money just because one person in the league decided not to play anymore and set up a lineup and then totally let this other dude win, who then jumps above you in the standings, that kind of thing. So here we go with the next pick in the USFL draft. Philadelphia Stars take Carroll Phillips, Illinois. 4th round, 6th pick. We also got this picture. Kyle Lorella is helping Pittsburgh Mauler coach Kirby Wilson select players for the USFL draft. This is pretty cool. So this is where everybody's at right now, making the picks somewhere in Birmingham. This is not streamed live, but you could see there's a ton of people there checking out the draft and moving right along. So you have him helping Kirby Wilson with his picks in the draft. Here we go. USFL is in full effect. All right, we still have 2 more picks remaining for the USFL draft. Again, appreciate everybody sticking by. This is what's up next. After this draft part is over, we have offensive tackle is coming up next on the docket. Offensive tackle. Excited about that. I know you are. That's the one that's what's going to make or break your league, is that. All right, let's hit the chat real quick before we get to the next pick. JS who said that? Team QB is the best fantasy solution. Well done. Thank you very much. David says that. Set position limits. Mason, I guess you could do something like that where you can only have one quarterback. But again, somebody could go, Jordan Ta'amu gets hurt, then some idiot in the league, well, I guess because they would have a position limit, they couldn't take another one. They would have to drop theirs. That's an interesting take. And this is why I definitely want fans to be involved as we build this out, because I want to see what your ideas are and see what you think how the fantasy football should roll and your ideas. So you have a big part of how this whole fantasy football things kick in and how this all works. The fantasy football works. You have a say as we build it along. Support at newshubfantasy.com is where you can help us out. And if you want to be a beta tester or whatever, just head over there. Link is in the comments for the News Hub Fantasy. So hopefully we'll get a couple subscribers. You can create a league, you can sign up, you can join other leagues, And then as things get closer, mock pre-draft will be the first kind of thing that you'll be able to do. But we need to get all this data in there first. When we do that, do we do that in March when training camp comes? That's probably more likely because you're going to have people in your draft that might not be in the league. We don't know. So we're going to kind of wait and see how that goes. But from our understanding, all of these guys signed a contract saying that they would play in the USFL. So I would be surprised to see, I would assume it would happen because you just never know. But I would be surprised to see any of these guys not stick it out because they signed a contract to play in the league. All right, next, 7th pick for your Tampa Bay Bandits. They select Adam Schuler from Florida, round 4, pick 7 in the USFL draft. Adam Schuler out of Florida. So we've got a mixed bag of players who are in bigger schools and players that are in smaller schools. It says Florida, but he's wearing a WVU. Okay. Getting all this data. I mean, the social media part of not streaming it live, the USFL is criticized for not streaming live. But, this is a great way to gather audience and followers. I'd be really curious to how the followers increase after this draft is over when, this is a great way to build your followers on Facebook and whatever. Yeah, you're not having a television show. I don't know. So I could kind of see it both ways. So Adam Schuler, Florida, is the 4th round, 7th pick. We've got one more to go, and then that wraps up the defensive edge rushers, and then it is on to offensive tackle, and then we'll call it a night, my friends. All right? I want to see if any of these offensive tackles have got any kind of name recognition out there. But mostly it's been younger guys. It's younger guys that the USFL is going after. They talked about that's who they're going for. And we'll just have to kind of continue to see how this all works out. I mean, I can't think of any big name offensive tackle guys. I mean, there's clearly nobody from like the CFL world is part of this draft. It just seems like younger, like the league said, younger guys. Jared says he probably was a transfer in college. Let's see. Philip says, I think USFL will be a good warm-up for the XFL. Oh, don't say that on this stream. You might get people. Moss God, who has the best draft? Clearly, my Tampa Bay Bandits have the best draft so far. There's no question about that. No, I don't know. It's going to be a lot of these names. These are guys that I don't, that I'm not familiar with, but we will as time goes on. And hopefully some of these guys will make such a big name for themselves that they will have a career in the NFL, maybe move up to the NFL. All right. Again, we thank you for all the people donating. James says, hate to advertise other accounts, but there is a USFL fantasy account on Twitter. May help you with data for Fantasy News Hub. Okay. James, shoot me a message on if you are on Instagram or on Twitter, and let me know who that is. If they've got fantasy data, I'd love to know how to do it. I know that they have the Sports Radar. I've messaged them, and I'm going to push a little bit more in the coming weeks as this kind of piece gets wrapped up. But I appreciate James checking in with $5 super chat. Appreciate that. Appreciate all the likes. We're at the 270. All right. I'm going to stay on, and we better get to 300 likes. 300 likes. A1 MP4, do you think Luis Perez will get drafted? I don't know. He's kind of on the older side of what people were talking about. Kind of on the older side, and I'm not sure that's what the league wants to go for. Do they want, I mean, I would bring him in, as a veteran presence, a guy that's done this before. He, did well for the spring league. He helped them out when they needed a quarterback. He, stepped up and played for them. Maybe we'll see. Maybe that will be a second, later on draft for the Maybe he'll be later, but I bet you they're just going to go young guys. All right, the final pick of the defensive end. So if you're a defensive end, you weren't selected, you have the supplemental draft coming. But finally, Chase Demore, Central Washington, with the 4th round, 8th pick in the USFL draft for the Michigan Panthers. So there you have it. It's wrapped up. All rounds, 4 rounds, or rounds 2 through 4, defensive end are now complete for the USFL draft. Next up, offensive tackle. Then we have cornerback, and then we have quarterback again. So we'll have to check in later for the quarterback position. So that is it for round 4. We'll stick around for round 5. We'll see if any offensive tackles out there. This, to me, honestly, is the most important position to be filled is offensive tackle. There's no question about that. Like, you need, this is the most important position in the league, and it's thin. Anybody that tells you otherwise is not true. I've talked to people that scout players for both leagues, and the idea that there's a dime a dozen good offensive tackle and good quarterbacks are hard to find, and that's why Josh Johnson and PJ Walker did well in the XFL, because these guys have been around and veteran guys that they're hard to find. They found him in PJ Walker. Who knows what's going on with Matt Rule if PJ returns to the XFL? Maybe. I hope he does, but then I don't want him to. Let's see. What do you think? Pip 2323Z. How bad were those QB selections? Darn, so disappointing. Listen, you weren't going to get a Cardell Jones. You weren't going to Johnny Manziel, Colin Kaepernick, Tim Tebow, any of those names. You weren't going to get any of those names in the draft. You're just going to get, a lot of small school guys that we might have been familiar with in the spring league, Shea Patterson and Brian Scott for some. So that's why. Bull Toll, I want relegation in the NFL like English Premier League does. Give XFL and USFL teams a window to move up to the big leagues. Hey, that would be cool, but I don't think that is going to happen anytime soon, my friends. All right, so round 4 is in the books. Defensive end is in the books. Appreciate everybody smashing that like button, getting us lots of likes. Appreciate that. It's been a lot of fun on this stream live. We'll do one more round with the offensive tackles, and then we will wrap things up. Remember, if you want to we got another video. Let's play another video out there. Take a little break. We'll take a little video, another USFL video.
The USFL is coming starting April 16th. These trucks have been driving around Daytona all week. It kicks off with a historic inaugural game. The New Jersey Generals take on the Birmingham Stallions in prime time on Fox and NBC. Spring football, that's going to be fun.
Sure is. Can't wait.
There you go. There you go. Spring football. There was a little commercial on Fox about the spring football USFL on Fox. So that was advertised over the weekend. So that was pretty cool of the league. Getting more and more run. I didn't really see anything much with the NBC's coverage of the USFL. But, I think we'll definitely see more as time goes on. And I really think that it's going to be a smash hit when they run their league with Fox and NBC on the same day. That's just going to be a monster thing. All right, let's, there's another show that we're friends with. They're going to do a show tomorrow after the draft for a full draft recap of all the day's events. And this is the Markcast. So let's play a promo from the Markcast.
Coming up this week on the Markcast, Paul is away, and when the cat is away, the mice will play, the mouse will play. I am piloting the ship solo this week. We are keeping things afloat. Tremendous show. Most insane day in the world. We have all of your USFL stuff. We have all the uniform reveals. We have Pat Ruffino coming on from CFL and XFL News Hub to kind of break all that stuff down.
Also, when I think of stars, I don't think of ketchup and mustard. Never really a taste for me, but if someone else has an opinion on it, please feel free to share.
Then we have your regularly scheduled program today that was scheduled before the USFL blew up the world. We have CFL super agent Darren Gill.
But I can tell you that there's certainly players today that believe that the best way to get to the NFL is going to be through the USFL. I'm certainly aware of at least one player who had a verbal agreement with the CFL team to leave the CFL contract in the event that the USFL would be up and running, and that was granted.
We are joined by two-time Grey Cup champion of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Brandon Alexander.
What they built is on the ground. It's the layout. This is the foundation. Everything on top is just added pieces over the years. But that layout, that's something that's been here before I got here.
Longtime friend of the show, Daryl Davis, comes by to break down this week's CFL news.
A lot of these guys 10 or 12 years ago, I don't think any of these guys, even Mike Riley last year, at the status, at the ability they showed last year, 12 years ago, none of them would have started in the Canadian Football League.
We have Neil McAvoy, co-general manager and director of football operations for America's team, the BC Lions.
Early 2000s, mid 2000s, you came to BC Plays, you weren't winning. And we have to get that mentality back.
And then finally, Jed Roberts, 13 years in Edmonton, comes by to talk about all the different things that the CFL could be doing to market the league in 2022.
It's exciting football, and I don't understand why we can't sell this league.
We have our big live show coming up in Birmingham. Lots of things coming down the pipeline. Like and subscribe. Crazy show this week. Paul's head would explode. I hope you enjoy.
All right, we are back. That's the Markcast. You can check them out. They'll be doing all sorts of streaming stuff tomorrow after the XFL or a USFL draft. Checking in on the chat room right now as we wait for the final to do the defensive players. Offensive line. Pip 2320. Do you think bigger names are holding out for the XFL or what? I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, was the XFL happy with guys like Luis Perez? They were not happy with Cardell Jones. I can tell you that. I heard, that the league wanted to switch him out and put in Tyree Jackson, but because he was a tier 1 guy, they couldn't, but they were about to, and I think he was going to get benched for the rest of the season. I mean, look at Matt McGloin was a tier 1 guy, and then they had to shuffle things to put Luis Perez out there to kind of give a kickstart to the New York Guardians. So I don't know, and it's been a couple years. Now there's a whole batch of players that are waiting to get a chance now, and those other guys are now a couple years older. So there could be new stars on the horizon. We don't know. Gail says, think money. Fox owns the USFL. NBC is buying half of their games for up to 2 years. It's like Coke buying Pepsi. Unheard of. Those thinking warm up might be changing their minds shortly. Those thinking warm up might be changing their minds shortly. Okay. Let's see. Have we gotten any more players? Nope. Draft has been kind of at a standstill right now. And we're going on 2-hour stream. Appreciate everybody. Make sure you're liking and subscribe as we wait for the next round to kick in of the USFL draft. We'll hang out here till 9 o'clock and then we'll wrap it up and get on with the rest of our evening. And then make sure you check out XFL News Hub for all your live, all the recaps. Every writer has a team. They're going to do a write-up on today's draft players, and it should be a lot of fun, a lot of good content. All right. Let's see. We got a compensatory pick. Interesting, that just came through. compensatory pick. We'll have to look at the rules in a second. Nigel Chavis, Norfolk State, round 4, pick 9. Compensatory pick. Welcome to we have added another defensive edge selection and will pass on a pick in a future round as a result. Interesting. Also, another compensatory pick just came in. The Birmingham Stallions welcome Jonathan Newsom. They've added an edge rusher and will pass on a pick in a future round as a result. So Jonathan Newsom, Ball State. So we have 2 extra picks at defensive end in the CFL draft. USFL draft. Oh, that's what might be the delay. Is there any more compensatory pick? All right, here we go. This is round 4 defensive end. So you got James Folston Jr., Eric Asua, Seth Thomas, Birmingham Stallions, Houston Gamblers, Daquan Brown, New Jersey Generals, Malik Hamner, Philly Stars, Carol Phillips. I'm sorry. That's the Tampa Bay. I'm getting them all confused. Vipers, Bandits, Adam Schuler, Chase Demore for the Panthers. And then you have compensatory picks, Nigel Chavis for the New Orleans Breakers and the Birmingham Stallions, Jonathan Newsom. Now, we have the rules. Let's see. Here's the rules. So should a team let time expire? I don't know if I about that. Let's see. Teams may elect to pass during any round in exchange for a compensatory pick that may be used at the conclusion of a different position round. So clearly they gave up a pick in some other round. I doubt it was offensive tackle. I'm not sure where they would, maybe wide receiver to grab another edge rusher. So they decided to make that change there. All right, on to the next round, round 5, offensive tackle. This, to me, is the most important round of them all for your team. And I would rather have the first pick in this round than any other. So you have round 5, offensive tackle, the Maulers, the Stallions, Gamblers, Breakers, Panthers, General Stars, and Bandits, my Tampa Bay Bandits, all the way at the bottom. Now you see how things have kind of shifted. It's not, the Panthers with the first or the last pick and vice versa. Now it shifts, and now the Maulers are on the clock with the first pick. And we got the first pick in the 5th round, the top offensive tackle, Chididi Okiki, Tennessee State, is the first guy taken, building up that offensive line. So he's basically considered the number 1 offensive tackle available in this USFL draft right here at round 5, pick 1 offensive tackle. So I'm not really sure his uniform. It looks like the Kansas City Chiefs uniform. He played for them. So he's out of Tennessee State. Again, this is a premium. But this is where both leagues are going to have a problem, is having good offensive line play. Think about the NFL right now. Think about teams that have good offensive lines and think about where they finish. Name me a team with a fantastic offensive line that does not make the playoffs. Has that ever happened? And how important offensive line play is really towards anything. I mean, if I am a general manager, I'd pick a franchise quarterback in the first round, but other than that, I'm always picking offensive linemen in the first 2 rounds. Always. I would always be taking an offensive tackle, regardless. I mean, why would you take like a kicker in a 3rd round tackle? Offensive lineman. I would always be looking for offensive linemen in my draft. I would be loading up on them because that's how you win games. You could have a star wide receiver, but if the quarterback can't stay upright, then he's never going to get the ball. It's very simple. So round 5, Pittsburgh Maulers select Chadi Okiki. Maybe I said it right. Maybe I said it right, my friends. There you have it. First round. We're up. Round 5, I'm sorry. Pick 1 of the defensive tackle. All right, we got another guy up. We've got Birmingham Stallions select Darius Harper, Cincinnati. Round 5, pick 2. Darius Harper from Cincinnati. He is selected by the Stallions. The second best. I think I remember looking at the XFL's draft, round 1, and I think Storm Norton, who plays now for the Los Angeles Chargers, I think he was a first round pick. And a couple of the guys there that did well in the XFL were first round picks. He's the only offensive lineman that made it to the NFL from the XFL, but he wasn't the number 1 overall offensive lineman, but he was near the top, if I'm not mistaken. All right, we got another one. Houston Gamblers, Brandon Hittner from Villanova. Played for the Rams. Pick number 3 in the 5th round. The Gamblers get Brandon Hittner from Villanova. You've got Cincinnati, you've got Tennessee State, and you've got Villanova. Again, really kind of not sticking. And one of the things that the XFL did was they were sticking with all the big name college players that played at big time colleges. These guys are now, giving these other guys an opportunity. But a lot of these guys clearly have some type of NFL experience underneath their belt. There's no question about that. Whether they were undrafted, played a little bit in the NFL, 26 and under, maybe as high as 28, and then that's it. And then those are the guys that the league wants. Why not get the younger guys? One of the things Brian Woods had said is that they don't want guys that are looking to cash a paycheck. They want guys that kind of, just to kind of finish out their careers. They want guys that will move to, that are still hungry, that are young, that can potentially, develop into, still have that window to develop into a great player, and maybe they make the jump to the NFL, or they stick with these USFL for years and make a name for themselves there. Clearly, there's plenty of fandom to go around for football, professional football, not only in this country, but around the world. Next up, New Orleans Breakers take Paul Adams, Missouri. He is a 4th pick. We are halfway down. We've got 4 more picks to go for offensive tackle here in the USFL draft. Consider it booked. Okay. Only the best for the best. There you go. Paul Adams from Missouri for the Breakers of the Nolans Breakers. Round 5, pick 4. As we continue our draft for the USFL. So there you go. We got 4 more picks to go, my friends. What are you thinking so far? Any of these offensive tackles, chat room, jump out at you all? Leroy Will Jones says the Colts didn't make the playoffs. They had a pretty good offensive line, but they were close. It wasn't like they were 2 and something. Fabian asks, what's the pay going to be for like in the USFL? We have an article about that. Mike Mitchell talks all about that on XFL News Hub. Basically got a chance to see what the agreement looked like. Guys can make up to, I think it's, if you win every game and you go undefeated and make it to the championships, you could make like 70 grand. But most of the guys, I think, are in that 40, 50. And people are like, oh my God, well, but they get health insurance through the whole year. So it's a whole year of health insurance, which is huge. They've got the free college thing if they want to do the college thing. And they're playing only, 10 weeks total. So it's not like they're playing a huge 17-game season in the USFL. So that's why when it comes to that. So let's see. Paul Adams is still on the board. All right, we got another pick in the USFL draft. Keith Williams, Colorado State for your Michigan Panthers. He is the 5th pick. Round number 5, offensive tackle. We got 3 more to go, my friends. We got 3 more to go. We need to get to that 300 likes on the stream to close it out. 300 likes on the stream, my friends. You can do it. Head over, smash that like button. If you're on Facebook, give us a like there or a happy face, whatever you want to do. We appreciate that. But we have 3 more picks to go, my friends. So Keith Williams. Let's see. Let's see. That's pick 5. Pick 6. Pick 6, get it? Garrett McGinn, ECU for your New Jersey Generals. Garrett McGinn for your New Jersey Generals. That's at the 5th round, 6th pick in the USFL draft. Congratulations to him. ECU, again, another small school. I'm excited for these smaller school guys to get an opportunity in the USFL. Why not? Why not give these guys an opportunity? You know, instead of I like the draft. I've liked the draft. Everything that's going so far. I've liked what they've got as far as picks goes, and getting a mixture. Some big schools, but then a lot of smaller schools. I mean, and I think that's absolutely what the plan was from the get-go, was to kind of have this small school, giving guys from a smaller school an opportunity. But, what is the XFL going to do come next year when they have their draft? These guys in the USFL are signed to 2-year deals, so they can't get out of their USFL contract to go play with the XFL next year. They have to wait. So really, this is going to leave the XFL with a lot of older guys, which might not be bad because, there may be more seasoned players. And then both leagues are going to compete when NFL cutdown day happens. And these guys get released from practice squads. That's XFL and USFL is going to be competing for those guys coming real soon. And that's going to be interesting. All right, we've got the 7th pick, Blake Allen Camper, going to the Philadelphia Stars. Blake Allen Camper from South Carolina with the 7th pick. We got 1 more to go for our offensive tackle to wrap up this hour. We got 2-hour live stream of the USFL draft, and then we will wrap it up, my friends. We got 1 more pick to go. This last shot at checking out everybody in the stream. We appreciate that. 297 likes, 3 more likes to 300. You would make my night, and I'd appreciate that. And I could tell my wife that, hey, we got 300 likes during our live stream so that she would forgive me for not hanging out with her. But I was hanging out with you guys. Let's see here. All these players, Fabian says, but all these players are NFL practice squad players, not college players. Yeah, for the most part. But I mean, right on the cusp of, right on the cusp are these guys, kind of like practice squad players. And that's mostly what the league is going to pull up. Hey, I appreciate all the likes there. We've hit over 300. That's fantastic. I appreciate that. Everybody out there, we got 1 more pick to go. 1 more pick in the USFL draft, and then we'll wrap it up. So a lot of these guys will be interesting to see how many of them played for the spring league, how many played, a lot of these guys have backgrounds in practice squads, and smaller schools. How the USFL and XFL are going to compete 5 years down the road, I'm saying I don't know how they're going to do it. I can't see these 2 leagues going head to head for 5 years. Eventually somebody's going to have to give. The AAF only made it 8 weeks. The XFL only made it 5. That wasn't really the XFL's fault. But what happened for these leagues, I would assume at some point down in the road, these leagues would have to merge. To my personal, but that's just me, pure speculation. I don't see how they would survive without merging because they would put each other out of business. All right, the final pick. The Tampa Bay Bandits select Tyler Catalina with the 8th pick, 5th round, is complete of the USFL draft. All right, my friends, appreciate you checking it out. Now, remember, tomorrow, the Markcast will have a full recap of the USFL draft. Heck, I might even hop on there and chat a little bit too. 2 hours of live USFL draft coverage. Stay tuned to XFL News Hub for all of the draft recaps. We've got writers working up on recaps for the whole draft, probably late into the night, because this thing, we're on the 5th round and we're supposed to go to 12, and it is already 9 o'clock. So we've got a lot more to go in this draft, my friends. So again, you can always find us. If you always want to be part of our podcast, remember, we are live, XFL Week in Review, where we talk about the XFL, the USFL, fan control football. We're live at 8 p.m. Eastern every Monday on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. You can drop us a review on our podcast. You can subscribe to our podcast right now, Stitcher, Audible, Player FM. This will not be on the podcast feed. Google Podcasts, Spotify, and of course, Apple Podcasts. Our Monday show always is. We appreciate that. And if you want to be part of the show, you can always email podcast@XFL News Hub with your thoughts, or record an MP3 or video on your phone, and we'll play it on next week's show. Leave a voicemail, 888-430-7692, extension 3 as well, to be part of the show there, my friends. Thank you. Thank you for everybody who sent the super chats. Thank you for the 316 likes on the stream. Enjoyed hanging out with you. Enjoyed the XFL, the USFL coverage of the draft will continue. Remember, check out the Markcast tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern as they recap the whole deal for the USFL draft. It's been a lot of fun, my friends. Thanks for listening. Thanks for checking us out for the first time. And remember, definitely check out News Hub Fantasy. That is newshubfantasy.com to sign up for fantasy football. We'll let you know when the data is in the system and we're ready to rock and roll. So we appreciate all of that. And let's see. And that's it for me, folks. And God bless. It's been a lot of fun. I'll save my voice. God bless. And I will see you all later. Peace. Later. God is good. Thank you, Lord, for being with me and praying for all these players as they journey on to the USFL. Amen. Good night, everybody.